Welcome to another edition of Swim Easy Speed. Today we're going to be doing an analysis on two guys from the team who both swam Ironman Texas, and we'll do a side-by-side comparison of their strokes and what they look like. The one athlete went overall was at 11:36 at Ironman Texas, and it was his first full Ironman. The other one was 12:59, and it was his first full Ironman. Swimming wise, the athlete that went 12:59 was 1:12 in the swim. The athlete that went 11:36 was 1:18. So about a 6-minute difference between the two of them. And, we'll just kind of go through you'll be able to see some of the differences in the stroke and what accounts for that 6-minute difference. And actually, it probably should have been a little bit greater of a difference because the athlete that went 1:12 versus the athlete that went 1:18, the 1:12 athlete basically had about 5 weeks to prepare for the swim, and he hadn't swam in pretty much close to a year. But I'll talk more about that in the analysis. So here we go. So here we are. Left side is the 1:18 athlete. Right side is the 1:12 athlete. And, you can see tempo is about the same here. I think the current was probably set about the same. It might have been a little faster on the right. But, the things that kind of stick out right away would be, and we'll back up. So you can see with the athlete on the left, and particularly on that right side finish. So you see the difference in where they finish right there. So the athlete on the left is already kind of pulling the hand out of the water on that right side, versus the athlete on the right, who finishes a little bit more, gets a little bit more propulsion. The other thing that kind of sticks out is if you look at, back it up so you can get a better look. So just watch kind of the hip rotation and how it's connected to the shoulders between the two athletes. See how the athlete on the right has a much better kind of connection all up and down his body, where it looks like it's almost moving as one unit, but it's really, really fluid. And the one on the left has a little bit more kind of there's a little bit more kind of hiccups, speed bumps, kind of in the road. And I'll kind of back it up so you can watch again. So you can see kind of it's a little bit more not as fluid of a stroke. Okay. So then we're going to move to the underwater, and you'll be able to see kind of the big differences there. So, here they both have about the same kind of stroke right here. We'll back it up so we can see them kind of side by side. So you can see they both kind of, and even the athlete on the right, he's, if we look right there versus right there, the athlete on the left has a much better kind of position right there when he's extending out. Now, one of the things that you can see right there, you can see where the kind of elbow drops. So you get into that position. So he's dumping a lot of pressure off of his hands. And then this athlete kind of really holds that position all the way through. So that elbow kind of stays in a pretty good position to really grab the water and push it back. But, they both don't have kind of that, really great kind of high elbow catch. So there's the athlete on the left. The left side of his stroke looks a lot better. Athlete on the right looks pretty good. It's pretty symmetrical on both sides. So here's kind of where the big differences come in. So if you can see kind of that gap right there between the top of the butt and the waterline. And then we'll go to the athlete on the left and move it forward. So you can see the difference right there. So for him, it's about that much. So we're talking about the difference between maybe, he's maybe 8 inches, he's maybe 3 to 4. And, this is, I always tell everybody, but this is where kind of, some of the big differences in speed and efficiency come from, is that body position in the water. And so that difference, which might be like between the two, it might be they have a 4-inch difference. Neither of them are hips are really are not high on the water, but it's about 4 inches. That 4 inches is easily 10 to 12 seconds a 100 for these guys. And the athlete on the, and they typically swim, the athlete on the right, or excuse me, on the left right here, he's about kind of 130-ish 100 is what he could hold for like 2100s if they were on 150. And that would be pushing it. And then the athlete over here on the left, when he's in really good, or on the right, when he's in really good shape, he was kind of in the 116, 117 range. He's Hungarian. He was here for in the U.S. working for a while, and then right around COVID, decided to leave and got jobs elsewhere. And Ironman had pushed off, had canceled Ironman Texas, so he had the deferral till now. And but he really didn't have, in his jobs that he was working overseas, he didn't really have a great opportunity to train for swimming. So when he came back about 5-6 weeks before Ironman Texas, he jumped back in the water with us and started to swim again. So part of his issue was just the limited amount of training time. So then we're going to kind of go forward, and you can see really kind of the discrepancy. So, he's got that kind of body position. He's a little bit straighter, a little bit higher on the water. And we'll keep on going forward. The next shot's going to give us kind of an overhead of the two of these athletes side by side. And you'll get to see just what they look like from up above. Now, both of them do a pretty good job of, holding a fairly straight line right down the middle of their body. There's a little bit of, kind of wiggle. You guys can't see the whole video, but, they both kind of bring their legs apart a little bit, which creates more drag, kind of brings down that back end. But they're both fairly straight. They're both doing a pretty good job of being, in line with that shoulder on the entry. So in line with the shoulder. The athlete on the right over here tends to do a little bit of a better job. So you can see this athlete on the left. He's coming in just slightly. Now, just slightly is okay, but you'll tend to, so if you're inside the shoulder, kind of on the entry, which is okay, you'll give up a little bit of power. In line with the shoulder is where most people are going to be, and you can get a good amount of power and leverage on the water. If you've got a little bit more strength, you can kind of go a little bit outside the shoulder in terms of the pull, and that'll give you a little bit more leverage on the water. So yeah, that would be kind of the main differences, main components. There's a bunch of other ones, but those would be the main ones that represent kind of that 112 to 118 difference in time and pace, because they're both about the same age. They're both good athletes. The athlete on the left here was a professional cyclist, yeah. So those would be the kind of, we're kind of comparing apples to apples here in terms of athletes, but those are what you'll see in terms of what makes up part of that discrepancy. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Please like, share, comment down below, and I am always happy to answer any questions and engage with you guys to help you out. So yeah, I will till the next video.